We're going to start with just one pasuk. In Parasha Tazria, there are two subjects: the subject of a woman giving birth and the subject of Tzaras. Last year I spoke about the woman giving birth. I want to go this year to the Tzaras. It's a very difficult subject, and we're going to take it on 2 weeks. Since we have the chance this year to have a leap year, so we're going to be able to take it on this week, understanding the Tzaras. And next week, it's going to be the kind of hiji-biji type of Tyra, how it's working, how a Metzora. It's so incredible. There's a whole Parasha about the Tyra of the Metzora. One whole entire Parasha. Weird stuff. So we're going to focus on the Tzaras this week, understanding why is it coming, you know, what triggered it. And as I said, we're going to start with just one pasuk. You probably can see my screen. We're going to start with here, the first pasuk. Adam ki yihyeh be'or besaroi. A person who's going to have in his skin, the language here, Adam, is very, very interesting. Because Adam, the Zohar always call Adam when there's a person and his wife. They are Vayikra Shema Adam. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu created Adam and Chava, it says in singular, he called the name Adam. Adam always represent a couple. Though it's the person, it's the Metzora is going to be a one person. We'll see this next week, the implications of why it's called an Adam and why is where is the wife, you know, affected by this. So we're going to leave this for next week. Ki yihyeh be'or besaroi. In the whole Torah, when you want to call oir, the skin, you call oir. Hayahafoch kushi oiro. Can a black man change his skin? It doesn't skin of his flesh. What are you telling me here? Be'or besaroi. If it's inside the skin, then it's the flesh. If it's above, then it's not the flesh. So these are the three types of tzaras, of negaim, of affliction that occur. Se'es, it's a leprosy. Sapachas is a different one. Baheres, it's also a third one. And all the Kabbalists say you can go to any doctor you want to try to treat that. You will not treat it because this is called Etzba Eloikim. These afflictions come because HaKadosh Baruch Hu hit with his fingers. Let's keep on here. V'haya be'or besaroi, and there will be, again. You couldn't say be'oiroi. Okay, fine. You're repeating be'or besaroi here. Le negat tzaras. You could have said v'haya negat tzaras. No, be'or besaroi le negat tzaras. Every time the pasuk expand its lashon, every time you have to know. If you have a question in Digduk, basically the Torah tells you here under there are secrets. Soidas, not explanation, soidas, secrets. I just want to emphasize the levels of secret it is. Vehuva el Aharon HaKohen. Then he'll be brought to Aharon HaKohen. Oh, people will bring him? Who will bring him? Doesn't say who will bring him. And who do you go to? Oh, the Kohen Gadol. The Kohen Gadol was very careful about even the spit of a tummy. Otherwise, he would become tummy. And he could not, and it was also for him to become tummy. You want to bring him a Metzora, Oh, where? Where is the Kohen Gadol? In the Beis Hamikdash, in the Mishkan? Yes. So you want to bring me in the Kedusha, one of the worst tumah. How does it work, this whole thing? How is it possible? Oh, he was not pronounced the Metzoira, and he only becomes Tameh once the Kohen pronounced the word Tameh. Okay, fine. We got to understand how this works, but I agree. But once he pronounces Tameh, where is he standing? In the Mishkan. Then he's going to have the worst tumah. We're going to see what kind exactly of tumah falls on the Metzoira. Then we have his presence while Tameh in the Mishkan, which is Bemisa. A person who goes with Tuma in the Mishkan or in the Beis Hamikdash is Chayev Misa. So how can you bring him in order to pronounce him Tameh and he will be Chayev Misa? Makes no sense. Let's go analytically according to the Gemara. I'm going to go pshat. According to the Gemara, what is this Metzoira? What is the cause to effect? Everybody will tell you Lashon Hara. Well, they missed the boat, they missed the train, and they missed the plane at the same time. Yes, it says in the Rishonim, but if you pay attention in the words of Rashi, there's a wealth. This week, I based myself a lot on Rashi, and we're going to see what comes out. The Gemara says, there's a very interesting Gemara in Soita, Hey Amud Aleph, that speaks almost the whole daf. It's like an auction. Who's going to say more and more bad things about a Baal Gaiva? In one word, HaKadosh Baruch Hu cannot live together with a Baal Gaiva in this world. A Baal Gaiva takes space. There is no space available in this world. Everything is filled up with the names of Hashem. Oh, you want to exist, you want to be under the sunlight, you want to be shining, be above people, fine. On the other side. And we're going to see what happens and exactly mamish the process, how this happens. And this will give us a very good understanding about these parashas that usually are so dry that people have even a hard time doing Shnai Mikra B'Chat Targum because they don't understand the greatness behind those words. So the Gemara says, brings a pasuk, Vasherehem Tegadeun, the trees that's been served for Avodah Zarah, you should cut down. And this refers, Belazar says, this refers to the Baal Gaiva, that you have to cut him down from the bottom. Why Asherehem? Because with the vote of the Baal Shem, it's very understandable. There's an Isur, it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Anochi Hashem Elokecha. So since you only Hashem, I understand it. I cannot have anyone else. So why do you repeat afterward Lo Yelecha, Lo Yisaselecha Pesel and everything? Explains the Baal Shem, because don't make yourself Avodah Zarah. A person that wants to rise above the others, who is haughty and everything, he becomes a mamashos of Avodah Zarah. And this is the love. You cannot make yourself Avodah Zarah. So a person who's haughty, it's not just a midah, a trait, an attribute, a character trait. You know, it's not people are haughty. It's a process in the person that got rotten, like the wine. You know, wine has to age and everything. There are midas that age into the person that makes him into a haughty person. And once he becomes this, he does even worse after that. Therefore, the Malbim says, You see, I'm going to show you a pasuk here, and you will understand a lot better. Okay, share screen. I have to repeat to myself. This. Miloshni basese re'ehu, the one who says lashon hara in hiding about his friend. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, oisoi atzmis, this I will exterminate. Why? Because if you say lashon hara already in public, even though it's extremely bad, but at least the avla is you said lashon hara, but here you renege the presence, the omnipresence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because you say nobody can hear. Why don't you know HaKadosh Baruch Hu is here? And look what right next to it in the pasuk, geva enayim urchav levav. A person that is haughty and pretend, he wants a lot. Urchav levav means in his heart. Oisoi lo yurchav. This one I can't take. In the same pasuk, these two guys are. It's one and the same person. That's what David HaMelech came here to teach us. Who is the one that's going to say lashon hara? Is the one that's haughty. Why? Very simple feelings. He cannot take that anyone else should be under the sun. He cannot take that anyone else should have a simcha. Everything is for him. We will take that point with the Zohar later to a level that's going to give you full clarity about the mental of these people, and you will smell them 10 miles away, so take a different road. So it was a pasuk in Tehillim. The Malbim there is usually Malbim explains Al Pi Pshat. Here he went out of the Kelim. The hatred he has for these people is transpired through his words here. He calls what is a holy person? Person who has a heart. He thinks he's a god. Whatever he thinks, he has das Torah. People have to come to him. People have to ask him the thing, because he's the one who knows. He can't say he doesn't know. No, he knows, because people, he has he never learned in everything, but within him, he has it. Those people, he says it's To'evas Hashem. Hashem is disgusted by these people. Yad leyad lo yenake. This one will not escape punishment. And from who? Directly from Hashem. We're not going through anyone else. Not this time. We don't have no. So we'll see what kind of punishment it is. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. We have a Gemara in Kiddushin in Mem Amud Aleph that says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not mitzaref machshava ra lemaise. A bad thought, HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't consider it as an act. So the person doesn't get punished for a bad thought. The only time he gets punished is Avodah Zarah, because Avodah Zarah is served with the thoughts. So therefore, that's the way to practice Avodah Zarah, and therefore the person gets punished by Avodah Zarah. Okay. So why is our Baal Gaiva, who feels himself like this, is getting punished? Big question in the Rishonim, lehalacha. I'm going to bring a Gemara for us to understand in Shabbos. You remember that story about Midian? They basically trapped the Bnei Israel. That was the idea of Balak Bilam to free their daughters, and the whole story. And Bnei Israel fell for it, and therefore 24,000 died. 24,000 of them died. And then Moshe Rabbeinu says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu ordered Moshe Rabbeinu, Nikam Nikmas Bnei Yisrael Me'es HaMidyanim. You have to avenge the blood of the Jews. So Moshe Rabbeinu took This time the best, the Sanhedrin, they went to war with the Midianim. They killed them all, and Bilam was dead, everyone. They come back with Pinchas Kohen Gadol, who was, some say he went alive to Gan Eden. Is one of the 7 that went alive. They come to Moshe Rabbeinu and they say, Moshe, we need to bring a korban. Moshe Rabbeinu at that moment lost his countenance. What? Did you sin again? Didn't you see what happened? He says, no, we didn't sin at all. But our eyes, while we were killing them, we saw the erva. And maybe we had an intentional or benefit from it, and therefore we want to bring a korban. Moshe Rabbeinu was very happy. What do we see from this Gemara? Now I'm going to bring, because I couldn't understand the Rif. The Rif wants to make a chiluk on the question we asked, why a Baal Gaiva is punished. And the Gemara says, only Avodah Zarah thoughts are punishable. The Rif makes a tremendous chiluk here. And he says, when it's only a thought in the head, usually even if a person thinking of making a chet, you can feel it's not anchored in the heart. And therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't give it the consideration of an act. But once a thought comes through the eyes, that thought has more meat to it, and it's anchored already in the heart. This one is considered a punishable thought. You're going to ask me, what is it this week? I'm sick. I bring you only Pshat, only Gemaras, only everything. Let's take the dive. So the Zohar HaKadosh goes on one of the 10 commandments to explain that point. Lo yisachmoy, you should not envy. What is to be envious or to want what someone else has? It's a thought. And it's a love. And it's one of the 10 commandments. What are we talking about in the pasuk? His wife, his sadeh, his behema, anything that he has seen. Exactly like what the Rif said. There is a difference. A person that sees and wants, it's called a hero. A person that only think, it's called a machshava. That's the lashon of the Rif, and it makes full sense. Now, the Zohar goes and explain that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave to a human the power of thinking, and this power of thinking can only be used about mitzvahs, and it's also to use it about anything else. About anything else. Why? Because it's connected to the Keser HaElyon. I'm sorry. To the Yud of the Shem Hashem, yes, the Machshava is connected to the first Yud of the Yud Kei Vav Kei. Nothing can touch it. We've been speaking about mitzvah, it's only the Vav Hey. We've been speaking about a lot of times. Machshava touches it. Yes, Machshava is connected to the Yud. Can I do things with my Machshava then? Because I'm in the Yud, and the Yud is Chachma, and we know I can do quite a lot of things with the Yud. You can make a goylem, you can talk to the other side if you know how to do it. It's all through the Yud. All the gates are through the Yud. So can I do it with my mind? Yes, you can. All right, let's see. I want to show you again. I want to share the screen so we stay together here. Let's take the words of the Rif. Here, Hurim Ra'im. So we're going to make the difference between Machshava Ra and here, Hurim Ra'im. Iruim Raim equals 786. 786 equals 6 times 131. Doesn't tell you much, but this is a number you should know. 131 is Samael, the name of the Satan. So once you have these, that's why the Rif is Machmir. That's why the Gemara is Machmir on here, Hurim Raim, because when a person has it, his whole Yesod represented by the Vav becomes inhabited by the Satan. In other words, the person becomes a Merkava, a chariot for the power, the dark powers, the evil powers. Really? Now you want to find the words of the Zohar inside there also. And why the Zohar was so strict about using the mind, because 786 equals Keser Elyon. So once you have Yeruim Raim, now you understand the bridge. Since you're affecting the Keser Elyon and it's removed from you, automatically you fall in the dark powers, which are basically in the same number on the other side, 6 times the Satan, because we are ruled by 6 spheroids plus, I'll explain you something later on this. Trust me, I'm going to bind it to a way there's going to be no hole for water to drip. You could fill the bag with water. There will be no drip out. I will give you today a Yesod, very simple, because now you understand a lot more, you know, as we talk and as we get to learn together, you understand a lot more. So here we do have our Keser Elyon, and we do have the evil powers. Now, the Malbim, which usually Pshat, got really ballistic about this Baal Gaiva. He called Toyeves Hashem, Yad le Yad Yenake. This is a promise that HaKadosh Baruch Hu directly will punish him. Okay, this is the Baal Gaiva, fine. Toyeves Hashem, you object to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. 904. You should know that number by heart already. Mashchis af chema. So now we have the chariot of the dark powers. Who are the powers that come on the person? Mashchis af chema, the destructors, the one that destroyed Mitzrayim, the one that carried out the 10 plagues against Mitzrayim. Yes. How do they affect the Metzora? We'll see exactly to the dot what they do. But this is, now we know the Baal Gaiva is the person in target. He put himself in a position that even though he only has it in thoughts, he becomes a chariot for the dark powers, and they land right on him because the Keser Elyon has already moved out. That's where we start. The shiur is starting now. We're going to go through exactly those words and explain them. The Gemara in Soita, Dalet Amud Beis, tells us that a Baal Gaiva soifo nichshal be'eshesish. He will, chas v'sham, I mean, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu would let him keep on, because everything is for him. He's all. It's him, nothing else. So he will be nichshal chas v'sham in an eshesish. That's why the Torah told us, Vehiskadishtem, sanctify yourself. V'hiyisem kedoshim, and you will be saints. What do you mean, sanctify yourself? How is Chazal explaining these words? Here, there's a tremendous That bring it. I'm gonna go short on this. This is Vehiskadishtem equals 1,250. 5 times Ner. Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, Yechida. Thoughts affect every part of the human building, put it that way. Igmar says, that we have to be pure in the machshava. It starts. Kedusha, it's not going to the mikveh. It's in the thoughts, inside the exactly the same misconception people have about Tzeaka. The Zohar, Beis Hashem will start to share on Haggadah, and you will see what Vayishma Elokim Esna Akasam. Zohar asks, what the heck? What is this word? Na'akasam. Tzeakasam. Tzeakot, Philosam, I don't know, but Na'akasam, really, you couldn't find a better word? Zohar says there, tremendous thing. The coil of the neshama is the tzeaka. The coil of the mouth, put it aside. The coil that has no sound, it's so powerful that cannot be expressed with a sound, is the real coil that transcends the skies. Unfortunately, I'm going to bring this reference, but someone made a nice song on this. It's really the heart that cries. Exactly the same concept as the tefillin of Rabbeinu Tam. Do you realize that the tefillin of Rashi, we make a bracha on them? When we put the tefillin of Rabbeinu Tam, we don't make a bracha. We don't say a bracha on them. So everybody goes, Simon Lamed Ches, and they're going to tell you the halacha because it's a suffix. Let's go into the Ariya Kodesh. The tefillin of Rashi are in the Bina, the 8th world. It's still accessible. It's Olam HaTorah, it's Olam HaCherus. This is where we're going to be on the Leil of the Seder and so forth. So this is the time. That's why it says Man Cheruseinu. Always hinted there. The tefillin of Rabbeinu Tam are in the Chochmah, above the Torah. There's no bracha that can encompass the greatness of the tefillin of Rabbeinu Tam. That's why the saying that the machshava is capable of accomplishing a lot more than actions, trust me. How did we light the menorah? Menorah was the Oir Aganus that was coming down, the oil of the first days of the creation. How did we light it? In 2 steps. First, we light 5 neiros. Then he goes to the Korban Tamid. Then he comes back to the last 2. 5, 2. The Koil of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Mizmor David, Kol Hashem B'Mayim. There's 5 koiles, then there's 2. Everywhere, it's a 5 and 2. These 5 chasadim, 5 gvuras, 5 times ner. If we had, and Be'ez Hashem after Pesach, I'm planning on starting a shir on Oitzvus Chaim, on really the Kabbalah of the Arizal, going on the Sefer and giving a shir on this. I would be able to explain you the Kavanah here, what it means ner. Why do we call it ner? Why is it 250? Why is it the flame? Why is it kiner mitzvah? How do you create that word ner, and how do you create that flame, and so forth? It's all the names of Hashem. And once you see that, that's exactly the Kavanah. When we light the ner Chanukah, it's not hard to learn these Kavanas of the Ari. It's hard to learn the Kavanas of the Rashash, but it's not hard to learn the Kavanas of the Ari. And I'm going to try to pass them on to make them very digestible, for the Seder. not give you names and everything, but give you simple concept that encompasses those names. You look, Reb Chaim came out with a siddur with kavanas, and everybody say, oh, you see, he gives pshat, he gives pshat. No, because you don't know the other side. You read this as pshat, but me, when I read what he said, I smile inside and I say, whoa, Reb Chaim was great. And Alav Hashem, Zechat Tzaddik v'Kodesh Libracha. So anyway, so the Mishnah in Derech Eretz, Perek Hey, gives us the steps how we get to this depth, about Gaiva. Sure, we understand we have to have positive, good thoughts. I mean, not positive, but very good thought, to have Kedusha in the thoughts in order to be Kaddish. So it's from the inside out that comes the Kedusha, exactly like the tumor comes from inside out. There's no tumor that comes from out. A person, when he becomes Tameh, means his nefesh became Tameh. And then he transcends through the body and makes some other nefesh Tameh. Listen to this Mishnah in Maseches Derech Eretz, Perek Hey. Techila, the beginning, Hirhur Halev. He started with the thought. Shniyala, the second step, Leitzanus. Now that you had that thought that you felt a bit more free and everything, you start Leitzanus. Shlisis, Gasus Saruach. You become a grub person. Revis Achzarius. Now, whoa, because it's a me, so toward others you have a Tsar Ein, Tsar Ra, Tsar Ra As, Tsar Ra. Chamishis La Batala. Then you feel, I don't have to work. I have to sit in my office. People have to come. I'm this and I'm that. They can ask me, and they need to pay me. 6, Sines Chinam. 7th, Ayin Hara. And altogether, Bal Gaive. That's his midas. That's what he's made of. This is the Tanoim Akdoshim that tell us what's encompassed into a Bal Gaive. You recognize him through Achzarius. It's not normal that he Sines Chinam, Leitzanus, Gasus Saruach. Guy sits on the table and you feel like you're in a stable with an animal. You know right away that something is wrong here. Rashi explains, takes it from the back end. If you look in the pasuk, did I write it? Yes. This is the kapara for the Metzora. I know, we have not defined our Metzora yet, but we have to come through the back door in order to understand. Now we are on the understanding path. He had to bring 2 birds. Next week, Bez Hashem will explain why we free the birds, and so forth. There's a lot of sodas here. He has to bring 8 eretz. It had to be a piece of oak tree. Rashi explained why. Because he feels himself towering on others like an oak tree, so he has to understand. You see, I put it in color, this one here. Shni Tzaras. You remember about the Mishkan? It was always the opposite. Like the adjective was Teilas, and Shani was the noun. Here, the adjective, the adjective is Shani, and Teilas is the noun. And we'll see. Sometimes it's Erez, Ezov, Shni Teilas, but it's in next Parasha, so I don't want to start mixing you up with this. Best Hashem for next week is gonna be a nice walk in the park. And then Ezov. So Rashi says, you felt towering on others like this big tree. You have to be like a Teilas. Your cure comes from Teilas, and feel like Ezov, which is the smallest bush of all the trees. I mean, the smallest trees of all the trees. So if you take just at the beginning, I'm going to start. I don't want to go into it because it's next week's share, but I just want to see the words of Rashi. Rashi says that this is a hint on the Baal Gaiv himself. So what did he get? Etz Erez equal 368. Hanechasha, the female snake. All the powers we're going to see of the Metzora all come from the female side, which are by far the worst one. The Satan is enticing people to do Chataim. He's female, kills people. He does not kill. He is not the Malach HaMaves. She is the Malach HaMaves. The Zohar has a few names of these women. Tzaria Kodesh also bring them. There are 4 of them, and holy shmoly, the one who get caught in there. The Shla Kodesh says on here, right there, the Metzora has these people, these creatures, these demons, these evil spirits, these females. Why? Because he became a full intrinsic part of them. What do you mean? The guy just wants to, he feels that he has no confidence. His mother told him, go to shul and start bullying people so you feel a little bit better. Don't let people step on your toes and everything. No. The Yevanim have tried for thousands of years to get us. Where the Yevanim tried with the sword and everything, they failed. The Americans succeeded with a few words and tried. They understood the weakness of the mind is the rationals. Make it rational and the mind will accept it. Make the most subject thing rational, look rational, and people will feel, oh, you know what? I don't like it, but I can't say anything because it's rational. So here, our dear Metzora fell into the hand of the female, or the females, because he has a few females, of the Satan. And the Tzaria Kodesh says, since he became part of them, where is his place? Outside of the 3 machanos, outside of the 3 encampments. I'm sorry, where were the Bnei Israel? They were in the Midbar. Which spirits are in the Midbar? All the evil spirits. Why can't people go out in the Midbar at night alone or next to the Midbar? Because they are shading. So let me ask you something. This guy is a holy person. He is already afflicted with leprosy. Where do we send him? In the hands of the shadim? Yes. Badad Yeshev. Even if there's another Metzora, they can't be together. They have to say hello to their cousins over there. They wanted this kind of attitude, of behavior. Let them, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants them to know where this leads them. And things happen in the Midbar? Oh, you bet things happen, yes. Until when? Until he breaks and he understands and is choizer b'tshuva. So can I prove that? Oh, for sure. In the words of the Pasuk? Yes, for sure. Actually, everything I said is in the words of the Pasuk. What do we say his punishment is? Badad. Badad is Gematria 10. Should be alone, 10. Usually 10 is a good number. Well, 10. Yes, it's worth Yud. Did we speak about Yud before, that you can do everything with the Yud? Yes. Mida keneged Mida. He affected the Yud, the Keser Elyon. So right now, the Yud of the Shakai, the name that protects him, is removed. Once you remove the name from Shakai, Shin Dalet Yud, you remove the Yud. What remains? Shed. That's what he is. Dari says, that's where he goes. At the end of the day, it's a tremendous chesed that Kadosh Baruch Hu does to a person like this, because there's, as the Malbim said, otherwise there is no tshuva for a Baal Gaiva. Not possible. Now, through the process of the Metzora and through the vision that he sees in the Midbar and how they play with him, you know, quote unquote, I don't want to be there. I didn't know that leads there. I don't want to be there. I don't want any part of it. Then you have to be Sheni Tzaras and Ezel. So I want to finish on the words of the pasuk here, because otherwise we can keep on talking on this forever. Se'es. So these are Be'er Besaroi. You want me to surprise you right now? I'll do it. How did we trigger all this now? The thought only for one thing. Here, Hurim rhyme, right? What proof do I have? It's true. I rationalized it like any thoughts Americans or Democrats do, you know, probably, right? Be'er Besaroi equals 786. That's the, you know, with the Zohar telling you Keser Elyon, and we find it in it. With the Merkava to the thing, or to the Koiches, to the evil powers, and we find it in it. You know, we came from 4 angles. Sorry, the probabilities to find it, and like this in the pasuk, you're not there. This is where the pasuk is hitting you with Be'er Besaroi. So let's go moving to the next word here. You have 3 types of Tzaras. Se'es. Se'es equals simple number, 1 less than Shabbos. Shabbos is Shin Beis Sav. Here is 701. I'm not going to play here giving you a thing with Shabbos, because I want to stay on a course of giving you mamish the truth. You're going to see in the Baalei Gaiva there are different ones, and which one is the worst one. What did we say before? That the Baalei Gaiva by the Malbim has a big heart and he feels like he's a god and everything. He loses trust in Hashem. That's it. He feels now he's a god himself. That's why 701 exactly is what the Erev Rav says in the Midbar. Hayesh Hashem bekirbeinu. Is there really Hashem among us? What do we need? We're self-sufficient. Like the Mabul people said, we giants and everything. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu opens even the skies, we put our hands and we block the waters. If he opens the abyss, we put our feet and we block the water. And if he takes on the sun, we had these special stones that shines better than the sun. That's where a person starts and he knows he's finished. That's the end. This is the signature. Hayesh Hashem bekirbeinu. But where do we see his punishment in this word also? Because it's mida keneged mida. If this person got this, he's going to get the punishment. Ra Ayin, when Esav came, he came with all the 400 camps of Tuma. Zohar there, the Ariya Kodesh, you know, anyone who knows anything about a pasuk, he came only with 400 men. Yeah, Avram Avinu gives 400 shekel to the other guy. So this 400 is for a purpose, you know, it's to transfer the Tuma. Ra Ayin is the midah of the Tuma, bad eye. Esh ba Ra Ayin, Se'es is Esh of Taf, of Ra Ayin. That's where he ends up. In the Midbar, with those, because even in the Shadim, you have different types. And this is with those guys. No need to go further than this in here. But let me tell you something. This is so precise, the Torah, it's meduyek to the yud, to the corner of the yud, to the word, exactly where the person's, you know, his oynesh is carried out. Sapachas, which is the second one, equals 548. 548, it's 2 times ra'ah, bad. Why? Because when a person does some bad that toward Hashem and toward the Biris and toward people, then he carries sapachas. We all remember the last week's shir about the dog, and that who represented the fire of the dog in the Mishkan. David HaMelech says to praise to Hashem, Hatzila mecherev nafshi. Says my nefesh from the cherev, mean from being banished from the world to come. Cherev. Miyad kelev yechidasi, my yechida, the highest than the neshama, from the kelev. Miyad kelev yechidasi isapachas. This person who has this is in the hand of the kelev ra. It's a different sort of guys that make him that give him a good time in the midbar, and he can enjoy. They make sure he enjoys. He stays in there, and so forth. The third one, you have there's here. Let me give you. I think just a minute more. Let me give a tremendous sword because I cannot let go and not giving you this on here. HaKadosh Baruch Hu provides, has a responsibility. When someone is born in this world, HaKadosh Baruch Hu promises, that's his thing, he is going to give him lechem le'echol and beged lilbosh. You're going to have food and you're going to have what to clothe yourself with. Now, you need to do your avodah. These are the 2 things a person can be assured and should be like it should be money in the bank. Whatever his needs are going to be, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will cover them. What is it equal? Those responsibilities from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Lechem lechol beged lilbosh. It's 542. The exact gematria of Malach HaMaves. A person who thinks that he knows better and I believe it, but you have, these are 2 ways. You have life and you have death. There's no middle way. You choose the right or you choose the left. You choose lechem lechol beged lilbosh or you choose Malach HaMaves. Once a person is holy, he creates a vav. It's Hashem, I'll have time next week to explain how this vav was created. Malach HaMaves and vav equals here. This is one of the worst. If you would know what's in these letters to know what's in his punishment, it's dreading. I don't know how can the guy remain normal after what he's going through. And I'm finishing on this by Harris. It's 607. This is the thing. This is the worst people. By Harris, the Mishnah says in the Gaim, it's white as snow and whiter. It's called Anova Psula. It's those people that were pretending they're big tzaddikim and everything, but only truth, and they fast and they do everything only to entrap people for them to go after them because they have a benefit in there. These are the worst people. And what it is, it's Sheol Ra. They have the worst. Sheol is Gehinnom, the worst Gehinnom. If I know what this is, I don't know what Sheol Ra is, but I don't want to know neither. I'm not interested. What the dance these people are taken into, in this world I'm talking, if you had Tzaras already, what they do with them in the midbar, and remember, not everybody goes through one cycle of 7 days. Some people have to go through 2 cycles. So the Rekanati says that a tremendous side on Tuma, those who understand why 7 and everything, one day B'ez Hashem will be able to dress it together. It's a very interesting concept because it makes you understand how the Tuma works, but also how the Kedusha works. So here we see, and we're going to close it on here. Oh, no. How can I forget the last word? Oh, yes, I knew I kept the cherry on the cake. Lenega Tzaras. Honestly, these words. So I just want to finish on this, but Neged Tzaras equals 913. Bereshis equals 913. The world was created with 10 ma'amaros. What's a ma'amar? It says in Bereshis 9 times Vayomer. And the Reikeach says, the Maharal, that Bereshis is the 10th, the highest one. Gaiva uproots, destroys the whole world even. So how does the Zohar in the Tikkunim calls Bereshis? Because in the word Bereshis, you have the word Beris Esh, the alliance, the pact of fire. Respect it, you're fine. Don't respect it, you're guaranteed fire. I shouldn't say you all the time, but it's the person is mamish guaranteed the fire of Sheol Ra. The worst that the Gehinnom has to keep, he keeps it for those people. Now we understand that where it affects the Gaiva in the Keser Elyon, he's getting Mida Keneged Mida because it's Bereshis, the Keser Elyon is the first Maimar with which HaKadosh Baruch Hu and all the others came from it. The person has shadim on him automatically. Why? Because he became a shed himself. He removed the Yud from Hishem Shakai. What's left? Shed. So he has shadim. Where does he go? To the Midbar. Makim Shemama, Nechashim Ba'akrabim, with such sort different kinds of shadim. He goes there. We saw that 3 families of them here, he goes dance with them. But guaranteed, when he comes back out of there, he is Sheni Soilas Ve'ezor. He is Afar Va'efer, which I'm going to explain why next week, B'ez Hashem. Yehi Ratzon HaKadosh Baruch Hu should protect us and should from this Midah Ra and without Yisurim B'Chaylaim Raim, all the Mefarshim, you look at the Tzaras, the Rekanati, the Moshe David Valley, all the big. This is the source of Yisurim of a person in this world. Yehi Ratzon HaKadosh Baruch Hu should save us from Mamish, because this is where all the worst Satan, the worst everything. And we should run away from it as we run away from hell. Have a great Shabbos, everyone. I'm going to turn off the